Previously on Frank's World TV.
I talked to Mary Jo Foley to find out what 2014 has in store for Microsoft.
So one thing I think we're going to see that's going to affect developers and ultimately customers too in 2014 is this whole idea of the unification of Microsoft's different platforms.
Just chill till the next episode.
And now, the conclusion.
So you got to interview Steve Ballmer.
Yeah, I got to interview Steve Ballmer this past year for 45 minutes after 20 years of no access, which was pretty cool.
And that was the second time you interviewed him this year.
The day he announced his resignation, I got 10 minutes with him on the phone, which was really awesome. And I kind of thought, okay, that was my 15 minutes of Steve Ballmer fame and I was done, you know? And then I kept asking and asking because I really wanted to talk to him one more time before he left Microsoft, because I had a lot of things I wanted to talk to him about. And I was allowed to have a final interview with him in November. So that was really interesting. You know, we obviously couldn't talk about who's going to be the new CEO or anything around that topic because that's just not something anybody wants to talk publicly about right now. But I did get to talk to him a lot about his legacy at Microsoft and also about some of his thinking around things like Microsoft getting into the hardware market with the Surface and a couple other topics. And it was really great. So I don't have any scuttlebutt or hints for you on the CEO, but I can tell you he was very still engaged in his role as CEO as of the very end of November.
That's probably not a career-safe thing to talk about. Has it been a good year for Windows Phone? Because I'm starting to, whenever I use it in public, people are curious about it. They want to know more. I'm also starting to see a few in the wild. Have you experienced something similar?
Me too. I mean, because I bought a Windows Phone fairly early on when it was announced. And the first time I bought a Windows Phone, and I should say I'm a Verizon customer, so that automatically kind of
Took you a while.
handicaps me in a way because Verizon wasn't that keen on Windows Phone at the beginning. And the first time when I did buy one, I went into my local Verizon store in New York and I said, I want to buy a Windows Phone. And the sales clerk tried to talk me out of it. I had to threaten to leave before they would sell me one. And now when you go in a store and you say, I want to get a Windows Phone or could I look at this phone? They're actually a lot more enthusiastic about it now. I've gotten to test out, thanks to Nokia, a lot of their newer phones. I got to try out the 1020 before it was announced. And it was amazing. I was testing it out on the street of New York. I was on Park Avenue near Grand Central Station. I was taking pictures and a guy stopped me on the street and said, is that the Nokia 1020? I was stunned. I'm like, this phone hasn't even been announced yet. And I said to the guy, do you work for Microsoft? And he said, no. And so I was like, wow. So people are starting to know about these products and they actually aren't poo-pooing them. They're actually kind of curious. Like I had the big phone, the 1520, and I had it down on a counter at a restaurant. And somebody said to me, oh, is that giant Windows Phone? Could I play with that? I want to see that. And it's cool to see people at least be curious. You know, maybe they're not going to go out and buy it because we are still the 3%, right? Here in the U.S. anyways. Although acceptance is bigger outside the U.S., which is encouraging. But yeah, it's good to see people not just saying, oh, that's a piece of crap. They're saying, oh, wow, I want to see that. What is that? Can I look at that? How does that work?
I saw in This Week in Windows, you mentioned that Microsoft didn't really buy all of Nokia, just large parts of it. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's the handset business. So they bought the Asha line and the Lumia line, right? They're licensing a lot of patents from Nokia as part of the deal. But Nokia continues to exist as a company, and they're going to be licensing patents to Microsoft and other companies. They also are going to stay in a couple of other businesses around communications, I believe. So they're going to continue to operate, and Microsoft doesn't own all of them. But Microsoft is going to acquire 30,000 people as part of this acquisition. And most of these people are in manufacturing and distribution, which is really great for Microsoft because you're going to get people who are like supply chain experts and those kind of people, which is something you need if you're really going to be serious in the hardware business.
And the deal has been approved by all the necessary regulatory parties?
Right. As far as we know, India's approved it. I don't think China still has as of now, but it's it seems like everyone's expecting this to happen and that it should be done sometime in Q1.
So it sounds like Build 2014 is going to be a very interesting conference.
Yeah, it does. I'm really glad Microsoft went public with the dates earlier than in the past on this because, the whole, I understand the need for secrecy on certain things, but conference dates isn't one of those things. And we don't know what the agenda is, although the timing is very interesting since it's early April of 2014. A lot of people think, oh, that would be really good timing to talk about Windows Phone Blue and Windows 8.1 Update 1, maybe an update to the Xbox, some new developer tools. So yeah, it's a very interesting timing choice. So there's a lot of opportunities because of that timing to talk about things that we've heard are coming around the spring and summer timeframe of this coming year.
2014 is going to be an interesting year, isn't it?
It's very packed with a lot of product announcements of interest. A lot of things on devices and services, on Azure probably, although we don't really know specifics on what's coming on Azure. It's that team, speaking of cadence, man, they are just every month blowing it out with, I think almost every 3 weeks, blowing it out with new updates to Azure, especially on the developer side. Another big one we didn't touch on, but a lot of developer interest probably is the new version of SQL Server 2014.
Now, I know you don't like to talk about Xbox and gaming, but is it fair to say now that Xbox is not necessarily primarily for gaming? I mean, it's essentially a home entertainment system.
Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. Even the way Microsoft's positioning it now, they're talking about it as an entertainment console. They don't talk about it as a gaming console. And that gets a lot of hardcore gamers angry. They're like, no, we want it to be a gaming platform. But the market for pure gaming consoles has been kind of in decline over the past year plus. And so Microsoft's and anyone else who's participating in this space, the way you grow when that's happening is you expand the footprint of what you're trying to be. So this is why you're seeing them do a lot around the Kinect and integrating voice technology. Why you're seeing a lot of things in terms of synergy with TV programming and all the things they're doing around sports, even building out a store that may at some point be similar to, if not the same as the store with Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8, so that there's a true integrated, unified experience for you as a customer and you as a developer.
So if folks want to find out more and read more of what you write, where can they find out? What's your website?
My website's allaboutmicrosoft.com on ZDNet.
Thank you again for joining me here on Frank's World TV.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Thanks for asking me. It's fun.
I don't always sign up for things, but when I do, I sign up for BizSpark. If you're wondering what BizSpark is, BizSpark is a program that Microsoft runs to help enable and empower entrepreneurs and startups build out their products. So for instance, if you wanted to create an app, the next big great app, you can get free tools and cloud services from Microsoft. Information on how to sign up is below, and sign up today.
You're watching Frank's World TV.